Welcome to Curiousaholic, the show where we question the past and imagine the future, where we learn from people's stories, learn from history's lessons, and unveil some of the dangers that lie ahead in the future. And today we have a podcast collab, which I guess would be our second one at this point, with the Get Out Alive podcast. Their podcast covers animal attack stories and, those types of attacks, like a little bit like how we do it. Like we know that you enjoyed our Jeremy Evans episode. So if you enjoyed that episode, you'll probably enjoy this one. It's a little bit in the similar nature. So today we're going to be covering the crazy tale of the Champawat Tigress. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this story. It's pretty outstanding. It's kind of wild that this even happened. So basically, the Champawat Tigress, committed a lot of killings in the early 1900s, and this collab is going to kind of deep dive into all that story.
Yeah, I think you guys love this one. If you like the Jeremy Evans one, I think you'll like this. It's not necessarily about a survival story, but more about this wild animal that just went full on man-eating mode and killed so many humans. And we're going to find out, why it happened and how it all came to an end.
Yeah. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks. So I will start out by reading a quote taken from the book Man-Eaters of Kuman, which is a book written by Jim Corbett. Jim Corbett was the hunter that shot and killed the Champawat tiger back in the early 1900s. So here's the quote. I was informed that for 5 days, no one had gone beyond their own doorsteps. The insanitary condition of the courtyard testified to the truth of this statement, that food was running short and that the people would starve if the tiger was not killed or driven away. That the tiger was still in the vicinity was apparent. For 3 nights, it had been calling on the road, distant 100 yards from the houses, and that very day it had been seen on the cultivated land at the lower end of the village. The villagers said that the tiger was in the habit of perambulating along this road, and as the moon was at the full, I thought there was a chance of getting a shot, provided that I saw it first. I had spent many nights in the jungle looking for game, but this was the first time I had ever spent a night looking for a man-eater. So how chilling was that? I mean, what do you guys think of that? Like the villagers, weren't even able to get out of their own houses and they were just so afraid of the tiger.
It's a real unfortunate situation for him, when there's a literal monster outside trying to eat you at night. It's a pretty unfortunate situation for him.
An understatement. Yeah, it's funny because on our podcast, we literally just covered another story of Jim's, but with a leopard. So I feel like Nick and I are right in that mindset of people being in terror because there's a giant cat outside trying to kill you.
With very little that they can do about it, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's so crazy. I could just imagine the fear, just this ruthless tiger going after people who don't know where, especially back in the early 1900s, right? There's no warning, no technology telling you, hey, there's a tiger on the run or something.
No way to tweet about it.
Right, exactly. It's all word of mouth, and you need to, and especially in those rural areas of India, right? I mean, it's probably hard to fathom that could even happen.
Yeah. If you imagine that they are stuck in their house for 5 days, they're not even sure if their neighbors are okay. For all they know, their entire town is being ransacked by this thing. They have no clue.
Yeah. I think that's what's scary. I mean, in life, what is usually scary is the thing that you don't know about, just something lurking there, something, being very dangerous to your life, but you don't know what it is, right? It could be anything, and especially a vicious tiger. I mean, how scary is that? To think about.
Can't get any worse than that, really.
Yeah. Before we get into more of the nitty gritty of the story, just to give an overview for the people watching kind of what this story is about. So this tiger, basically being a man-eating animal, was terrorizing the Champawat region, the Kumaon district in India, western part of India. So basically, they're saying that this tiger turned a man-eating animal because it had a dental issue or some sort of injury to its mouth, which basically forced her to start attacking humans instead. And then, because of the widespread loss of life and the fear, the British colonial authorities, along with the Indian government, they, coordinated to hunt down this tiger. So basically how this all started in the beginning, at first it wasn't in India, it was in Nepal, right? So in the western region of Nepal, this tiger started attacking humans. They sent hunters to try to capture it. They failed. And then they sent the Nepalese army to go after it. They also failed. And so what they did is like they organized a beat with everyone, and they try to push the tiger out of that region into India. And then eventually, once it was out, they're like, okay, well, it's none of our problem anymore. They just left it in India.
Yeah.
So, a question on that, like, what do you guys think of, how the Nepalese government handled that situation? Do you think they should have maybe coordinated with like the two governments, or, not just get rid of the tiger into, another country, right?
Yeah, I had honestly never thought, because I listened to our episode today because we covered it in our first episode, and Nick had asked about that, like, how do you push a tiger out of a country without killing it? And I had never thought about it, but yeah, it's kind of messed up to be like, hey, instead of killing it and stopping the problem, we're just gonna push it over there. Yeah. And good luck. Yeah, I don't know if there was any coordination between governments on like, hey, this is coming your way, or if it was just like, as long as it's not our problem, whatever.
Yeah, it's just crazy that, it's almost like you're pushing that problem to someone else without even thinking about the repercussions. Like, oh yeah, here's our problem. It was already killing lots of people in Nepal, and now it's yours.
I mean,
it's just crazy.
I think that's how the death toll reached such a high number, because they just got rid of it into India, and then it started killing more people. So yeah. But I don't know. I guess during those times, governments and people didn't really, I don't know, maybe weren't as coordinated as, they are today.
Oh, definitely not. And again, they're in such a remote area. Like coordinating anything out there it's so impossible. Like, where are the guys going to live? It's not like they can just take over these towns and have 100 hunters just live out there, because you need that many to do this. One guy can't just walk out into the jungle and find a tiger. Like, it's just not gonna work like that.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah.
There is this one man.
Yeah.
Although, he did get help from others, but obviously he was a very strong-willed hunter who,
Yeah, he took it upon himself to hunt down the tiger, whereas a lot of people didn't feel like going after this tiger because it was, causing so much havoc, basically.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many, and yet they all failed, and there was just one person who was able to coordinate this and, take it down. So basically, we're going to talk about the region of Champawat, because I think that's also very interesting, because this region is also very mountainous and very difficult, terrain to, navigate in.
Yeah. So I'll get into that a little bit. So that region, it's very biodiverse. There's a lot of, species, and there's a lot of dense forests that are, going around in that area. So do you think, perhaps that, the habitat where the Champawat tiger was in, it made it more difficult to track and kill the tiger?
It definitely did. When you can't even see more than 50 feet in front of you, hunting anything is going to be impossible. I don't know too much about the exact climate or anything, but if it's raining all the time, how quickly are prints going to be washed away? There's just so many things that stack
that's a good
against
point.
you. And there's other predators in the area. There's sloth bears that we have learned over the course of our podcast are the most deadly animal in those areas. So
Sloth bears?
Sloth bears. You got to watch out for them, man. They're crazy.
Sloth
Hey,
bears.
let's maybe ask Pat to show us a picture
I'd
of
like
that.
to see a picture of that.
They're
there
very
you go.
Yeah, Pat.
They're very cute.
And with their
they're
hair
cute.
apart.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the cutest animals are the most deceiving ones.
Yeah,
like bears, right?
Exactly like bears. All bears. That bears are the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can be vicious too. Yeah.
Yeah, as we know. Oh. Okay. Oh, it kind of does look like a bear almost.
Okay. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
It does look it looks like a black bear.
Yeah, they really do. They're smaller than black bears, but they are way more badass than black bears for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, there's,
No offense to black bears, but
there's a lot of accounts of sloth bears and tigers getting in direct conflict, and the sloth bear can come out on top
Really?
Most of the
fairly
time.
often. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you say that these animals are like more badass than black bears. Like why do you think that?
More
Just
aggressive.
we've come to find out that like if you come upon a sloth bear, like they will attack you. They are considered like one of the deadliest. I think they're in the top 5 deadliest animals in that region, right, Nick? Is what we...
They are very far up there.
Yeah, like of the animals that will attack you, like sloth bears top of the list. They are the thing to watch out for, more than tigers or leopards.
So you have this man-eating tiger on the loose, and she's not even the deadliest thing in the forest. So there's a lot of things you have to watch out for when you're out
that's
there.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So how big do these get? Do you know?
Not too big, couple 100 pounds, I think.
Couple 100 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I think they're smaller than black bears, which are still like, I mean, if we're talking like grizzly versus sloth bear, like sloth bears, so much smaller, but they
Okay.
will kill you for sure.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Are they like smaller in size?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah. Maybe that's why like they're more agile too. Maybe that's why they're
Again, just pure aggression. Like the animals
Yeah,
that
they're
are
really
already
mad.
in the forest, they have enough power and fitness to ruin us at any point. They don't do it based off of their own survival instincts, and just they aren't that aggressive in the normal day-to-day life. That's why it counts when they do attack someone. They're so scary and so devastating. Every bear can do what the famous bear attacks have looked like, but they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that, like whenever they want.
Yeah, so you're saying just out of like sheer aggression, these animals like attack people pretty savagely. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I never heard of this breed of animal. Interesting.
Sloth bear.
Sloth bears, yeah.
I mean, the name sloth would make you think,
Yeah, lazy.
lazy.
I know who decided that. Yeah, it's very deceptive.
the name is not.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're very
interesting.
fast.
Yeah, so I know this area also is pretty like mountainous, right? I mean, we're not that far from the Himalayan, like we're in the Himalayas, right? In that area, we're like not that far. So I know the landscape could vary from like 200 to 2,000 meters, right? So I guess that also added to the difficulty in catching the tiger, right? Like just this difficult terrain to navigate, and must have been a difficult hunt.
I mean, obviously, I think all of the circumstances, just being in the earliest 20th century, no contact, difficult environment,
Very rural, like poor rural area.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just everything factored in, made it hard. Nowadays, I guess even if in that region there was such a tiger, because I think there are some killings that still happen even to this day.
Yeah.
But obviously to a much lesser degree because they have a better control of, coordinating between them. Regarding these attacks, right? So apparently this tiger was mostly attacking during daylight. And as we know, tigers are mostly nocturnal animals that, hunt during the night. So what do you guys think of that this tiger was hunting during the day?
I think that's literally just because people are out during the day. Like, I think it's just people typically go in at night so you can avoid all the other scary stuff. Like leopards come out primarily at night. Normally, tigers are supposed to be out at night. But I wonder if this tiger just learned that people come out during the day. So it's just easier to grab them during the day.
So it got
I don't know if Nick, you have an
acclimated to
opinion
humans.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it makes
Yeah,
sense.
so I guess that would categorize her as like a man eater, right? If like she's literally stalking her prey specifically during the day, like I don't know how you could categorize that differently than just
Yeah.
man eater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, issue, the injury that the tiger had, I think, it went after humans because they were easier prey. And since they were out mostly during the day, that's when I guess the tiger decided, that's what I'm going to hunt.
Yeah, I mean, during a lot of animal-human conflict, there's kind of a debate as to whether the animal was hunting the human or not. A lot of times they're not. They're defending themselves. This tiger was hunting humans. She was hunting humans to
time.
eat them. Like, that's pretty well set in stone.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you rack up a few hundred,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not
That's-
a one-off
that's
kill.
wild.
This isn't
Yeah.
a mistaken identity thing. She's taking humans when they're most available, which would be during the day, like Ashley said.
Yeah.
There is a Netflix documentary out right now about the T-24 tiger in India. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Not yet.
Pat,
no.
you want to pull up a picture of that? I think it's actually more of like a modern case of like a man-eating tiger. It has had like I think it has had 4 kills. I mean, a kill is a kill, right? Like we're not gonna diminish what it did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's called the T-24 Tiger, and basically there was this whole thing going on where it was killing, and they weren't sure if they should put it in a zoo or not. And then it was removed from the wild, and it caused like huge like outbursts in India, like free the tiger and all that. So if Pat, you could maybe just find a. Yeah, no worries. I think this tiger's like 600 pounds or something like crazy.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Tiger 24.
So
it's
like
a really
new
interesting
show or
my God.
documentary.
It's a documentary. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a beautiful tiger.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really beautiful.
Oh, that's gotta suck. They're so pretty.
So
Yeah, it must suck for real.
So you mentioned that this tiger has killed 4 people.
Yeah, it has. It's killed 4 people. Well, the thing is, they're convinced that it killed 3 of them, but the last one, it was like kind of like a contentious one. Like they're not sure per se if it was that one that that it killed, like that tiger that killed the person. So when after the 4th killing, that's when like all the the measures were taken to bring the tiger into a zoo.
Yeah.
And that's when like the protest started, and there was a lot of contention around that case specifically. Yeah. And now I think the tiger is in a zoo, and it's like not doing well. Like it's getting like, I think it has cancer, and it's it started deteriorating really fast after they took it out of its natural habitat.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. That was so in our episode about this Champawat Tigers incident, we had an interview, or asked an interview with Sam Helly, who is a biologist who works over there. We asked her what they do with trouble animals, and she said that sometimes they have to put them in the zoo because they can't keep them outside. Like you can't keep an animal that's actually hunting
kill
humans.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And no one wants them to die. Like no one, like the biologists that work with these animals don't want them to suffer or be in a zoo. Like it's just the best way to keep them alive without putting people in danger. Which sounds weird because you're putting them around more people, but if they're cared for,
like
cage.
You got to wonder too, like if people are upset that he's in captivity, the other option would be killing it. And if he's in captivity now and like quickly going downhill, whatever, getting cancer, maybe he had cancer and was already dying, and that is why he was hunting people. And being in captivity, you have healthcare that is free to you and you're fed. Like that is honestly the best place to be if you're a wild animal and dying. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I think in the 1970s, like India put into place, I think the Tiger Protection Act, where they like kind of like segregated their areas, where there's kind of like more a village type area for people to live, and there's like a core area for like the tigers to roam around in their natural habitat. And I think a lot of what was happening was those boundaries weren't properly established, and people kept crossing into the core, and then they would get mauled by tigers there.
Well,
so
what do you expect to happen if you're gonna go into the tiger's den? Like, what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to mess around with these big 600-pound tigers. Like, no, it's wild.
But it's interesting also kind of how now there's a lot of talk about conservation and like not killing the tigers. Maybe before, back in the day, it was just kill off the tigers, hunt them all, or they didn't really think about that. But now it's much more the conservation, and sometimes there's a lot of outrage that hunters go hunt animals even if they have like a permit or whatever. People are still against it.
It's a very different situation when you're talking about a man-eating tiger and tigers in general. I don't think any of us here really support exotic hunting. That's going to be after like endangered species like this. We don't want that. But again, if you have a tiger that's killed 4 people and may attack more because it's sick and dying, you can't just leave it out there. You can't just have it make the decision on its own. You have to either contain it or kill it. I'm happy they contained it.
Yeah, I think.
It's a different story.
Outcome.
Yeah, it's a different story when a tiger starts killing people, right? I mean, we want people to stay safe and not have to deal with these attacks. And I think we were going to get into the attack, right, of the girl, the last victim of the tiger.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So when this tiger was killing many villagers, and then there was this one last girl that was mentioned in the book from Jim Corbett. It was apparently a 16-year-old girl named Premka Devi, who was in a village near the Champawat town. Apparently she was on a tree and she was going down cutting some leaves, and she didn't notice the tiger coming onto her, and basically pulled her down to the ground and attacked her throat, and then brought her into the forest. And so because of that, there was like a trail of blood that was left, and that Jim Corbett was able to follow and see where the tiger went. But again, it was still dangerous for him to try to hunt it down, and that's where it organized again another type of beat to push out the tiger towards its own direction so it could kill it. I mean, also, how do you think the people, villagers, reacted to these killings? How do you think, emotionally, and the trauma that they had to endure, because there was so much killings happening? Do you think this tiger was the devil of India? Do you think they gave it some names?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of that book, Jim even mentions that some people kept parts of her because they thought that having parts of her would ward off other animal attacks. I think that's kind of a common theme. Yeah, with Jim Corbett stories, these tigers and leopards alike that kill a bunch of people are kind of deemed evil spirits. So there's also some people there who don't want to kill them because they think they're evil spirits, and they're like, I don't want that bad juju on me. I don't want to be involved in killing it. But I think that they were all pretty happy that she was dead and that some white man came to kill it for them. So it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah, because there were a lot of local hunters, right, that were trying to kill it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was an outsider that came, right? Jim Corbett was British, right? If I recall.
Yeah, he was born in
Britain,
in
yeah.
India. No,
He was born in India.
Yeah, I think he was born in India.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he lived there for a long time. So he was he really loved the people there, but also Nick and I try to be very careful and be he was still a British man living there, but he did a good job, and he was they all respected him. They had a great relationship, so it was good. But
yeah, that's why I thought he was British. I knew he was British, but I didn't know he lived most of his life in India. Okay,
I think he had a good understanding of the Indian culture, the regions,
yeah, for sure.
And he wasn't just some random, I'm gonna come and
yeah, he wasn't some American.
Yeah. So big. Okay. No. Yeah, exactly. I think he did the best that he could. And that's what we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll get into how Jim Corbett did it. So
more of his story. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into how he was able to bring down this tiger. So Jim Corbett, as we mentioned, he's a hunter that lived most of his life in India, British descent, and all that. He put it on himself to go after this tiger that not many were willing to go after because of obviously the repercussions and how dangerous it was. So the only two things that he asked was that all bounty rewards would be removed, because I guess there was some prizes that would be attributed to whoever brought down this tiger, and that no other hunters would go after the tiger because he was, first of all, scared for his own safety. So he was saying that if there are other hunters in the forest trying to kill this tiger, I might get shot. So he didn't want that. And the second thing was that he also didn't want other tigers to needlessly get killed because, they would be mistaken for the Champawat tiger. So those are his only conditions. So basically what happened, like you mentioned earlier, there was a beat that was organized in order to push the tiger into a certain direction, and then they would force the kill onto the tiger. So what is a beat, by the way?
What is a beat? I mean, from what I read online, I guess it's when a lot of people make noises and try to direct the animal.
Yeah, they're just trying to push,
just scare it away,
push it into a certain direction, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what it means.
So yeah, I'm going to read another little quote from the book that basically, in Jim Corbett's words, how he took down the tiger. So here's the quote. I took the hill at a run, grabbed the gun out of the Tahsiladar's hands and raced back. So that Tahsildar, it's kind of hard to pronounce, is actually government officials in India. As I approached the stream, the tigress left the bush and came out on the projecting rocks towards me. When I was within 20 feet of her, I raised the gun and found to my horror that there was a gap of about 3/8 of an inch between the barrels and the breech block. The gun had not burst when both barrels had been fired, and would probably not burst now, but there was danger of being blinded by a blowback. However, the risk would have to be taken, and aligning the great blob of a bead that did duty as a sight on the tigress's open mouth, I fired. Maybe I bobbed, or maybe the gun was not capable of throwing the cylindrical bullet accurately for 20 feet. Anyway, the missile missed the tigress's mouth and struck her on the right paw, from where I removed it later with my fingernails. Fortunately, she was at her last gasp, and at the tap on the foot was sufficient to make her lurch forward. She came to rest with her head projecting over the side of the rock. So that was, how he handled the tiger. And like you said, I think right before that passage in the book, there was a lot of pandemonium going on. There was, a lot of shots being fired, a lot of people involved, and it was basically really chaotic. I don't know if that passage really depicted how chaotic it really was during that beat, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys think the tiger was killed the right way? Do you think it was, was it with the least amount of suffering possible?
Probably not, no. But I mean, you're never going to be able to get the situation perfect where you can end it in a single shot or in a more humane way. This is the only opportunity they had, and they took it. Like, you can't really go against them for doing that. If they let this thing run away and they try to find a more humane way to kill it, who knows however many more people would have died.
Well, yeah, and they had shot her. So this was Jim's final shooting her, but she had been shot twice directly before that, and one of them was she got shot in the chest, but didn't directly die and ran away either to die or to try to recover from it. So I feel like they tried their best, and she just was super tough. So
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, do we know how big this tiger was, the Champawat tiger? Can you research that, Pat?
I think we said 600 pounds on our episode.
No, I think that was the T-24 tiger.
This one was also a large tiger.
It was also a big. Okay,
Oh, was it?
I could imagine, right?
I do not remember.
The strength to kill 400 people, it must be a big girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even
Plus,
in our last episode that we talked about, on our podcast with a leopard that killed people, leopards max out at a male leopard at most probably 150, but he could carry an adult human. So I would not be surprised. Yeah, she's a couple 100 pounds. She could easily take an adult man. No problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it says between 300 and 600 pounds. Yeah, so there wasn't really an account. It wasn't really
accounted for. It's a big range still.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a big range. Seems weird, though. I feel like they would have probably weighed the tiger after they, killed it.
Yeah, I would have thought, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe back then, right? I mean,
yeah. It was maybe difficult to.
Yeah. So, there was. It was I guess it was taken care of, in the best way that we can manage, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people tried their best to solve the problem, and some people didn't even care, and they just, like what the Nepalese government did, and they just pushed it away. That I don't think that was the right way to do it. I think
maybe they thought they're like, oh, we didn't kill it, we just pushed it away, right?
Again, it's so hard to judge them for, because they're facing the same challenge that the Indian government did. What are they supposed to do? And at the end of the day, the same thing led to the tiger's death. It was just a bunch of people making noise and driving it to a certain area. It just happened that the Indian government decided to put somebody in the right spot to kill it.
Yeah.
And the Nepalese government may have attempted that. Again, you are a single person in a jungle. The tiger can run in many different directions when it's running away from this pile of people. So who knows if it just ran past someone that actually had a gun.
So true.
There's a lot of things that go into this. That's more than just oh, why didn't they kill it first? Why didn't they try to capture it first? You can't just do that. It's not that simple.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense that they did their best in what they could do, right? They pushed the tiger away. Maybe they had a reason, or maybe they didn't have the means to actually get the job done.
Yeah, they didn't have the means for it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Do you think these behaviors could have been triggered for other reasons in the injury? Or do you think it's really just because, this tiger had a problem with her jaw or something wrong with her teeth? Do you think there would have been other reasons for it to start killing?
Yeah, I think it was mostly the tooth problem, because I think he had determined that it looked like she had been shot before, and like who knows if she was shot when she was trying to kill a person or if she was going after cattle, for example, and got shot. But it seemed like her injuries she had to result to eating something soft and squishy, and that happened to be people. So
Yeah. I know just another parallel with the T-24 tiger again. I know that tiger, they suspect that the reason why it started killing humans was in 2009, they noticed that the tiger had like a problem with its paw. So they basically, they put it to sleep and they brought it in and they had like this intervention where they tried to remove whatever was wrong with her foot. I think she had like a thorn or something that was like really causing like inflammation and things. So yeah, humans tried to intervene with that. And then what happened was when she was under the anesthesia, she woke up like unexpectedly and she like looked around and she saw everyone like around her and she just bolted and ran.
Oh, wow,
so apparently, apparently that must have been so scary.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think from there, some of the experts were saying that maybe that's what caused that tiger to go after humans, almost like she had a grudge against them.
Revenge.
It's possible.
Yeah, it was like a revenge.
Do they hold a grudge? I don't know.
I mean,
I've read some places that apparently they do.
Some
but it's
animals
not very...
do for sure. I don't know if tigers are one of them, but like crows, I don't know what kind of birds you guys have up there, but crows for sure
oh
hold
my
grudges.
God,
Yeah.
Yeah, crows are really smart. I know
bastards.
tigers. Yeah, tigers are really smart
Also
too.
smart. I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I saw in that documentary, like when they removed the T-24 tiger from the wild, like his mating partner was just wandering around on the road and just calling out for like the T-24 tiger, and like the cubs left as well, and you could just see that they were like the family of the tiger was sad.
The tiger's boyfriend.
Yeah, like the tiger's girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. I think they are really smart.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, the way they coordinate their attacks in the wild, to catch their prey. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, they're very good at what they do. Their job is to kill and eat stuff, and they're very good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, us humans were just puny little
creatures.
Yeah.
Big old bags of flesh that do nothing. Yes, our brains keep us alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like us humans, it's not necessarily we're the strongest or the fastest. We're just, like we're able to create, habitats where we're able to protect ourselves or have these technologies to take down animals. But if we don't have the guns, if we don't have, shields or whatever to protect ourselves,
We have nothing.
Yeah, we're nothing.
We're toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, you could just see that, like, I'm sure like a lot of people are, happy that this tiger has been taken down. I mean,
Yeah.
probably for generations after.
I think I heard that, so after when it was killed, the villagers came and they asked Jim Corbett if they could hack it, like just destroy the tiger and take pieces of it. And I think he said, no, he convinced them to not, do that, I think. So I think afterwards he skinned the tiger to keep the...
Yeah. I think that's what Ashley was mentioning earlier, right? I mean, so they were keeping like pieces of the tiger, I guess, to avoid certain attacks from happening in the future with other animals. It's interesting.
Isn't the skin like in a museum somewhere? It's in really bad condition. Isn't this a thing? I think they have the
I'm not
Champawat
sure.
tiger skin somewhere in his museum.
Yeah.
maybe.
It's a case with a few.
Can you see if you can find that, Pat?
Yeah, maybe Pat can
Yeah,
look that
we'll
up.
see if we can look that up.
I'd like
Yeah, if
to
I
look
remember
at
correctly, the way that it was cared for out in like transit or something was really bad. Now the skin's I think really bad shape, but it is supposed to be the Champawat tigers.
You may be thinking of the Tsavo lions.
I'm absolutely thinking of the Tsavo lions. Also some beasts. You guys should look those up.
Oh, really?
What are they called?
The Tsavo
Tsavo-
lions, so it's spelled
Tsavo.
Tsavo, and there were two male lions from Africa. So a little different.
There's a couple
but-
real crap movies
Okay.
about them. Don't watch them. Read up on them.
Oh,
I'll take your word for it then, yeah. Okay, Pat, so instead, can you look up Tsavo lions? It said Tsavo.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. So it's their skin that's.
Yeah, no, I was just wrong. I just
Okay, so you were mixing
that's
it
okay.
up with the Champawat. Okay.
Okay, but so what do these Tsavo lions do? Like, why are they?
What's their story?
Yeah, I don't
They
know about
also
those.
murdered a whole bunch of people. Yeah, a similar situation. They just like terrorized an entire encampment of like hundreds of men. Actually, Indian
Also Indians, yeah.
workers.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's it.
goodness.
Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Poor
Indian
Indians.
workers
Getting bad.
came to Africa. Yeah, and then these lions just like these two male lions who didn't have manes, which is extra weird, just like terrorized and killed hundreds of people for.
They didn't have
Who knows
manes,
why?
really? Wow,
Yeah, no one
that's
really knows
weird.
why. Yeah, it's odd.
there's some different theories about it.
It's like an anomaly.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
Yep.
bramble and like prickle bushes in that area, so it's thought that maybe they lost their hair by going through those. Could be some genetic thing. Like, really, who knows? But yeah, they look weird.
Yeah, they do.
Lion. Okay, these are.
There
So
they
it
are.
says the Tsavo man-eaters were a pair of man-eating male lions in the Tsavo region of Kenya. Okay, so this is in Africa.
Is that the pictures of?
Yeah, that's
Those are
them.
Which
skins. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow, they look weird.
But don't.
Yeah.
Male lions have.
Yeah, they don't
Yep.
have they have
Normally.
they normally have manes, right? But these don't. Interesting.
And maybe
So
they
it
were
says-
sick, and that's why they went after people. Who knows? They could have had like mange or something. No one really knew.
Okay.
Does this type of like anomaly
Okay.
happen like often, or is these
No.
like the only lions they ever found with no manes, like as like they were males, right?
Yeah,
Wow,
that's a good
that's
question.
interesting.
I don't know. These are the only ones I've heard of, but that's because they ate a bunch of people. So like, it's totally possible
Yeah.
that there's other male lions that don't have manes. I just haven't heard of them. But
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
like diseases that they can catch that would lead to this as well. Not
Yeah.
that these ones may have had it. They could have or could not have. I don't know. But I'm sure there's disease that leads to this on a more regular basis than you might expect.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. You always hear about the worst case scenario, right? You're not going to hear
Yeah,
about
exactly.
lions that have no manes that haven't killed anyone.
Yeah.
You always hear about the worst.
Yep.
No, obviously.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
Huh, I never heard of these. Okay, so they killed around 135, which is still, And this was when? At what time?
March and December
1900s.
1898, I think.
Oh, 1890. Oh,
Oh,
okay. So this was still
Close enough.
Same thing.
Okay.
So this was almost around the same time as the Champawat Tiger.
Yeah.
Actually.
Not too
I
far.
don't know what was happening back then. Like late
Yeah,
1800s,
right?
early 1900s. Stuff was
We
going
know what
wild.
was happening. It was colonialism, what was happening, and now we just had a bunch of people actually recording the things that are happening. And like
Yeah,
for
right.
this case, like it was a railroad crew was going and building a railroad. That's how the attacks were happening. Is they're getting picked off from their campsites.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
okay.
the British
okay, workers.
expansionism and like other countries colonizing these areas is why we learn about all these things in the early 1900s and late 1800s.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it is interesting.
They were basically the unlucky ones who went into, the wild areas, the
Yeah, the people that were
uncharted
killed are
areas.
the ones that were hired by the government and given no weapons or like real good protection against the animals that are there.
Yeah, just like poor workers,
Correct.
go and do
Yeah.
the dirty work, and then we'll walk in your path of blood.
Exactly, I like it.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened. The world we know today. There's a lot of death that occurred. And
Still
sometimes
is.
We don't. Yeah. True.
Just
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, just different death.
different ways. Yeah, and
Yeah, it's unfortunate, of course. So I have a question regarding Jim Corbett. So in your opinion, Jim Corbett, hero or murderer?
I mean, he's a hero murderer, is what he is. But,
He's both, right?
yeah, no, he absolutely is a murderer. He has killed many, many, many things, and probably not always for good reasons. Like, yeah, he was a big game hunter, and that's not a great thing, but it was a different time.
Yeah. I mean,
And he did
first-
set up the national parks in India. Like, he did a lot of really good things, and he is a huge part of the conservation effort in India. So you can't just say that he's a bad guy for big game hunting.
Yeah, and I mean, like he did kill leopards and tigers that didn't kill humans. So it wasn't just like exclusively killing these man-eating cats. But at the end of his life, he was like, I shouldn't do that anymore. Like, these are magnificent animals. We should protect them. And then instead he started photographing them and preserving space for them, which is still a thing today. So like, good on him, I guess. I don't know. I think he did his best with what he could at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because I asked this question because I know this could be a little contentious because, a lot of people always debate whether, like if hunters are evil people because they kill and they go after animals and they ruin species and whatever.
Yeah.
But in this case, I mean, I personally think that he was probably I think I agree with Nick on this one. I think he's a hero murderer, and I don't know. It's just it's just hard to say, right?
But like, how else, like, would you get rid of this animal? Like,
Yeah, would you rather he didn't go kill it? Like, is there
Yeah.
anyone supporting
Yeah.
that idea?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Capture it, maybe. Yeah. Like
How?
kinda
With what? Like, where are you going to
They
take it? Where are you
couldn't.
gonna put
That's
it?
the thing. Yeah.
How are you going to transport it out of the jungle into wherever you want to take it? Like,
Yeah.
there's not roads.
Or anesthesia, probably.
not a lot,
Not
not
modern
anesthesia.
anesthesia.
Not back in the day. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Or they didn't have, tranquilizer darts or something to, put it to sleep. It's just kill or let it, live.
Yeah.
and
Let it
be
live.
killed.
Yeah. Kill or
Yeah.
be
Right.
killed.
In this case, that's exactly what it was. I think kill or be killed.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I guess one of the options, well, like what's like, again, parallel with the T-24 Tiger, like they put him in captivity, but at the same time that could also be considered suffering, right? I mean, like the tiger doesn't have much space to run. It can't hunt. It's just given, the food that it's prepared for the day, kind of like humans get, here's your meat, for the day. It's not exercising, because hunting takes a lot of energy for the tiger, and it's basically staying fit as it's doing all those tasks to hunt prey and all. And when you're enclosing it, it could also
Like
suffer. Yeah. So I guess you have to weigh out the consequences, right? Do you want to kill it, or do you want to have it in captivity? That's up for grabs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, like, again, Jim Corbett was saying that because he noticed that it had an injury and that's why, it was attacking humans, he was saying, oh, like this foolish hunter, whoever, shot it, didn't have the guts or something to finish it off, because in his mind was better you kill the, damn thing instead of let it, because I think the tiger was suffering for like 4 years that it was hunting humans,
Right, yeah.
because of the extreme pain that it had. So
I mean, she was healthy enough to kill 436 people. So
yeah,
what
I guess,
level
yeah.
of suffering are we talking about? Was she in pain? Like, these are wild animals. They're in pain all the time.
Yeah.
I'm in pain all the time too. Like,
Yeah, I'm in
permanent.
pain.
I have bad joints. Like, I'm in pain all the time. Like, what level of
You're like,
suffering
I'm
are we
not
talking about
sympathetic
here?
towards
Yeah.
this animal.
I mean, not for that. She lived. Like, if there's a difference between an animal that can live and kill 436 people in her lifetime, no, that animal should not be put down for injuries. Like, man, of course, we don't want her killing humans, but if she has the physical wellness to hunt, give her a chance. And then after that, open season if you go after people.
Cool. What is your talk about this? Like, so what are your guys' opinion on, like, right now in our modern times where an animal attacks a human and then authorities usually try to euthanize it? Like, let's say after a bear attack, they try to, put it down. What do you think of that?
It's case by case.
Should
Yeah,
case by case?
I
Okay.
totally agree. And I think also here in America, we are quick to shoot and stuff. So typically that's people's answer. Like, hey, you kill a person one time, you're done. Yeah. And I think it depends on the case. Like, there was a bear attack that happened last year a mountain lion attack where this couple was in a hot tub and they turned around and there was a mountain lion behind them and it swiped at one of the guy's heads. And then the state wildlife department wanted to kill the mountain lion, but it was like, well, it probably was surprised and didn't, intend to kill the person, and
I
it
was
didn't kill the
curious
person.
and came to see what was in this tub of water. Like, it
Yeah,
wasn't hunting. It was just seeing what was going on and got scared.
Yeah, so like, should it be killed for just harming a person one time? But like, if you're serially killing humans, like that, I understand. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess it really depends.
Okay, so we shouldn't be quick to just, one kill equals, euthanasia.
Yeah, like an eye for an eye.
Well, yeah.
Then you
no,
run into issues with rabies as well, where you need to kill an animal to see if it has rabies. So it's like,
that's true.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that go into it as well. The main focus should be saving a person's life. So if you need to
Yeah.
find out the animal has rabies, you got to kill the animal. It's just is what it is.
Okay.
So you have to kill an animal to see if it has rabies, just because I guess you don't want to spread the infection. You have to kill it first. Like, what's the reason? Like, is there like a specific reason for that?
Yeah, so to test an animal for rabies, you have to test its brainstem. So you got to cut off the head and scoop out the brains, and like otherwise you would just have to like monitor it for a period of time and determine like, is it acting weird? Okay, then we'll kill it and then test it. So you have to be dead to be tested for rabies.
That's interesting. I never heard about that.
And
Yep.
man, rabies, like when humans get it, it's intense.
Yeah, do you guys
like,
have rabies up that way?
And your animals, not your people. by the way.
Not that I know of.
I don't know.
I don't have it.
I don't think you'd be doing this podcast.
Like, get out of here.
I'm not aware. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay, Pat. Last one for you.
Well, yeah, I was part of a program that like specifically was trying to keep a certain strain of rabies like out of Canada. So first of all, you're welcome.
Oh.
Second, I don't know if like
Really?
different
Wow.
strains of rabies got up there. I was working on raccoon rabies, but like bats have it and can fly. So I don't know. Maybe they've flown over the border and given it to Canada, but
oh,
Yeah,
We'll
hopefully
see.
not. So what's the okay? Let's see what Pat has here.
maybe try to zoom in a
there
bit
it is.
if you can.
oh yeah, Arctic
Arctic
fox rabies.
Fox rabies.
Yeah.
The following
That
types of
one's-
rabies can be found in Quebec. Bat rabies is the most common variant of rabies in Quebec. Arctic fox rabies.
What is that?
What is that? Arctic fox rabies occurs in northern areas up to about the 55th parallel. It affects the Arctic and red foxes. Okay, so it's
okay.
it's a rabies that foxes carry.
Yeah, and that causes a ton of issues because they'll come off the ice and just fully spread it into like dogs, which will spread it to people. So I know like in Alaska specifically, it's a huge issue, but I don't know if like in southern Canada it would be as much of a problem. So you guys are
Interesting.
safe.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
safe.
For now.
Not
So-
against bats though.
Not against bats.
Or raccoons or striped skunks if they get to you. Maybe.
I've seen a lot of raccoons around here.
I've seen some skunks too in my
Yeah, a lot of
in our
skunks.
streets. I'm always running away from those damn things.
So what are the means of like transmission for rabies? Is it like from a scratch from an animal that's like contaminated or a bite? Like what's the most
Yeah, it's
common
saliva. So if you were to be bitten, obviously like that would do it. But if you had, for example, like an open wound and then for some reason a rabid animal like drooled on you or bled into you, that could also cause it to happen. So basically the rule is like if you're ever exposed to an animal that could carry rabies, like a bat, like if you wake up with a bat in your room, get yourself rabies shots, like don't even question it. If you touch a raccoon or a skunk, a fox, a bat, especially, like definitely get yourself checked out and talk to a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but from my experience, if you mess with wild animals that could carry rabies, it's better safe than sorry because you will die if you get it. So
Wow.
Yeah. How long would you live with rabies? Like, does it kill you really fast?
Varies.
it depends. It can like stay dormant in you for up to like a year. And
Oh.
then, but as soon as you get symptoms, like it's too late. So
It's already bad. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
like some of the late stage symptoms. It's like they say it's like a fear of water, but it's
Yeah.
more like I don't think it's like you're afraid of water, but you just can't ingest water, or what is it? Is that
it
is
is.
that a
Yeah, I
thing?
have heard it's like a fear of water, but I don't really understand how that would manifest in people. Like if
Yeah.
people like shun away from it, but yeah, it's mostly like drooling, like trying to bite people, like people trying to bite people, just full on being delusional. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's like
Fear of water. That's weird.
I don't know. I was seeing like it was a video I actually saw. It was like apparently some young person who had rabies and they were trying to drink water and they were going crazy. And
That might be a fake video. You might.
I mean, there's so much stuff.
Stop scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah, if someone is around you and
TikTok.
is struggling to drink their water, don't record it. Help them. Help them get help.
That's also fair.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
questioned why the cameraman is there.
Yeah, no, can we
Yeah,
focus
right,
on that
why
part
is-
too?
Yeah. Why isn't the cameraman helping?
Yeah.
We always know the cameraman survives.
Yeah, that's true. I heard of another story one time, like I feel like this is a while ago, like maybe like early 2000s or something. I was watching a documentary and there was like this case where I can't remember exactly where it was, but this girl was like this young girl was at a park and she removed her jacket, she put it on the floor and some like squirrel came and like was like basically touched the jacket and then she put on the jacket and then the girl started getting really intense symptoms of some illness and apparently when she went to the hospital they said she had like a case of bubonic plague.
Yep.
Which is like a super
Yes.
Yep.
Really?
They are tree rats. Yes, they are.
Oh my
disgusting
goodness.
creatures.
Whoa, easy, Nick. First of all, bubonic plague in the U.S. is still carried by Oh my God, ground squirrels. What are? We just talked about this, Nick.
I have no idea.
What a ferret?
Okay,
What do
so-
the wild ferrets eat? Prairie dogs. Prairie
there we
dogs
go.
carry
Prairie
the bubonic
dogs.
plague. Yeah, and they're ground
Really?
squirrels, so they can give you the bubonic plague to this day still.
What the fuck? That's pretty
go.
terrifying.
You go, Ashley.
Wow.
It's almost like I'm a biologist. It's almost
Crazy.
like Nick and I,
Yeah, you
we've
are.
talked about this.
I didn't remember it, so.
That's what she does.
Yeah. So many types of animals such as rock squirrels, wood rats, ground squirrels, prairie dogs, chipmunks, mice, and it's a little small here. Voles. Is that a word?
Yep, voles and rabbits, yeah.
Voles and rabbits can be affected by plague. Wow.
What are voles?
What is a vole?
A vole's
Little
like a really
rats.
tiny. Okay, that's not true. How dare
They're
you?
all
Voles
rats.
are like, no, they're not. Voles are like super cute. Yeah, look at them. They're very tiny.
And then they give you the plague.
And then they give you the plague.
Wait,
Yeah,
so that
don't
person
hold
shouldn't
them.
be
It's
holding the
disease
ball.
infested rats, yes.
Nick.
But
Oh my god.
that man shouldn't be holding it then.
No, you're right. Yeah, that is wrong. Don't do that.
That's
They are so
to
cute.
get
Though.
the shot.
Wash your hands after, at least.
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah. Don't like touch your mouth after touching a wild animal ever.
Yeah, there are safe
Yeah.
ways to enjoy wildlife. You don't need to touch it, but if you do, wash your hands after.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I pet like a donkey once, and I don't know. I didn't.
You should be okay.
At
Do
a
donkeys
farm.
carry anything? I don't know.
No, it was like a farm
Animal
animal. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Donkeys, goats.
Yeah, they're probably like taken care of there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So
Interesting stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot here from this story. You know, that last question there with Jim Corbett, hero murderer. You know, I think we can kind of see both in this. You know, and for sure in the comments, you know, people are gonna be, you know, like, oh, you know,
We welcome it.
He-
Like we want the discussion to happen. Like we don't want
Yeah.
arguments, we want discussions. If people agree or disagree, voice your opinions, but do it respectfully. Like there's
Yeah,
that's why we asked
yeah,
the
there's
question.
different perspectives to this, and not everyone needs to agree on the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
or just people, forget to be respectful in the way they, you know, express their opinions. It's always black or white. You know,
And
it's
remember,
wrong
you're
or it's
not
right.
in 1902 in the middle of India with a deadly tiger in front of you.
Yep.
And your
Yeah.
decision making might be a little different if you were in that situation.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe one last question. So, what can we really learn from this incident of the Champawat tiger? Kind of, what can we extrapolate? You know, for us, for our modern times, and just how do we handle wildlife in general? And these
Yeah.
sort of, you know.
So first of
situations?
all, like Nick briefly touched on, leave them alone. Like don't approach wild animals and you're generally fine. But in situations like this, well, I mean, situations like this haven't really happened since then. There haven't really been tigers that kill like 400 people. But we did come to find out that, yeah, nowadays when tigers do start maybe killing people, they get put in zoos more often than they get killed because they're so endangered. And tiger populations have been increasing in recent years, which is awesome. But that doesn't mean that their habitat's been increasing. So there's still a ton of people, more people than there ever has been, obviously. So increasing amounts of tigers, still increasing amounts of people. We're probably going to have more tiger-human conflicts, which sucks. But I have like, how many tips? I have like 3 tips to not be attacked by a tiger or to try to escape a tiger. So if you find yourself in an area where there's wild tigers, wear white and do not wear red was the biggest takeaway that Nick and I got probably from talking to an actual like tiger expert, because apparently red pisses off a lot of animals. So now I personally, whenever I go hiking, like if I go hiking around grizzlies, I am wearing white. I do not want them to approach me. I want them to walk away. So like that is the thing that biologists will do in like if they're trying to capture like leopards or tigers, they'll put up white sheets to try to drive them the opposite way towards like a cage or something. So wear white and have them avoid you. Also, if you have a tiger coming at you, try to get into a tree. Obviously, they can climb trees and they can pull you out of trees like you guys were talking about with that last victim. But it's better than fighting them on the ground. So like if you can get into a tree and get high up enough, then you're probably going to be safe. But recent research from the Nepal region says that like of the animals to be attacked by in that region, and to die from. Like, number one, if you fight an elephant or go up against an elephant, you're definitely going to die. But number two, if you go up against a tiger, you're probably going to die. So, like, the odds are pretty slim against you, but hopefully it would be a quick death.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
I don't know if
Fingers
that's
crossed.
helpful.
Hopefully.
Some good tips, yeah.
Some good tips, yeah.
Just to remember. Okay, so the color thing, so just lighter colors in general, or just white is better?
I think it's just white. I think white is such a stark color that most
in
animals don't
nature.
see
Yeah,
naturally.
it's not
I
very
mean,
naturally occurring.
yeah, we were talking about striped skunks. I mean, the reason that they have the white is like, hey, back the fuck up. So, like, just wearing white is a good, hey, don't get near me. I don't know why red makes them angry, but
They're like bulls.
That's what
that's
we
what
said.
I thought. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Just universal. They all hate red, so just avoid red.
I guess something in nature, yeah.
It's the color of blood or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
maybe.
It's
Why
not.
not?
Color,
Yeah.
color of
Yeah.
danger.
Color of danger.
Red means go in wildlife. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
I also heard apparently in those regions to try to not be attacked by tigers is that they were wearing masks, but like in the back of their heads. So when they walked, the tiger looked at them and they saw like two eyes and a mouth. Apparently that made them not attack the villagers because it was like confusing them, because when you're always looking at the animal, I guess they don't want to come at you, right?
Makes sense to me, yeah.
That's a good idea.
That giant eyeball looking things, like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That'd be worth a
Why
try
not?
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like the back of your heads can protect you any other way, so
Yeah,
take
might as well
advantage of what
armor
you
it
can.
up.
Yeah.
Might as well just put a mask, you know, then
Yeah, why not?
Anything.
maybe when maybe going hiking with a mask, you know, so the bears don't come at you, you know?
Yeah, so the grizzlies don't. Actually, I don't think that would help in that situation.
They would still like mess you up.
Yeah. Sloth bears,
But-
probably a mask won't help you.
Isn't it true? Like, I've seen some videos, or is it leopards or lions or whatever? It's like a man, he's like looking at them and they're like, you know, slowly approaching it. And as soon as he turns his back, they like quickly approach it, and then he turns again and then they stop. So I guess when you look at them in the eye is like a threat to them, or
Do you guys have house cats?
no?
I had, but I'm pretty
Oh.
allergic, so I don't anymore.
Oh, okay. So this one, right down here. If you play with a house cat and you like look at them and then hide behind a door and look back, they'll do the same thing. They'll come closer. I think they're just if you stare at them, they know that they've been caught and they're like, just kidding. And then the second you duck away, they're like right back at you.
Yeah, that's
So,
funny.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if it's
sure.
a
Yeah.
playing thing or if it's a way to
No,
kill
that's
you.
a kill thing. That's a
Thing.
killing
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So she's trying
Yeah.
to kill me, you think?
Yes. We know that.
it's their instincts.
good
They
luck.
still have that.
Yeah.
Or it's like those videos I've seen where it's like the guy has the camera in the hallway and the cat's like stopped, and then he goes in.
That's
And then he
exactly
comes,
it.
and it comes closer.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
always look tigers in the eye. That's a takeaway.
Yeah, back on the like question about bears. So I heard something like, if the bear is black, you should like fight back. Is that true? Okay,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then if it's brown, play
Lie
dead.
down.
Bro, I was thinking
If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down.
And then
Yeah.
if it's
The old
white,
adage.
if it's white, good night.
Yeah, no, you're dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's how the saying goes.
Polar bears for sure will kill you. Grizzlies probably, unless you're Jeremy Evans, that you can fight it 3 times and still
She's a badass,
survive.
yeah.
Black bears, like, if generally black bears don't kill people, but when they do kill people, like, they will sneak up on you and you're pretty much done. It just happened here in America. What was it, like 2 months ago, Nick?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah.
A man or alone. Is
Yeah,
that
it
the
was a
story,
guy
or-
just sitting at a picnic table and a bear came up
Yeah.
behind him and killed him and ate him. Like, it was a
Damn.
black bear was trying to eat him. So, like, black bears will try to eat you and that's why they would kill you. But, like, grizzlies don't really eat people. They just, like, hate us
They
and are
protect.
upset. Yeah.
or protect their cubs. I think it's mostly
Yeah,
for that. Like
that too.
you're near the cubs, it's like you're done.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
Even if
Yeah.
you did.
which is why when they say brown lie down, it's because if you are no longer a threat to the cubs, then you will most likely survive the interaction. So if you just lie down, act like you're already dead, it'll move away. The problem with black bears, if they're attacking you, it's to kill you because their
if you lie
babies
down-
climb trees. They don't need to be worried about you getting to a brown bear that's up a tree. So
Black
if it's
bear that's up
attacking you,
to you.
it's to kill you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
That's messed up. Yeah.
Okay. So are they more?
Yeah.
It's
Bears are
worked
messed
for them
up.
for millions of years. So
Yeah.
we're the ones that don't get it.
Yeah.
That's who they are. So are they more aggressive in nature then instead of defensive? The black bears?
Yeah,
no,
so-
it's a rare thing for that to happen. It's just like
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah.
black bears, like, they evolved to live with grizzlies. Grizzlies are way more aggressive, so they learn to run up trees to avoid grizzlies because grizzlies are pretty big, can't always climb trees the way the black bears can. Sometimes, and like when you see it, it's horrifying, but they've evolved to run away. So most of the time, like here, at least in the Northeast, like people don't really get eaten here by black bears. It's mostly like if you trap a black bear and it's like stuck in your house, it'll attack you to get away, but they don't really attack you because they want to eat you anymore. But grizzlies, like, yeah, if you're just around them, they're usually mad about it. So,
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
and then polar
Get
bears,
out of my
like,
swamp.
who knows all of it. They
if
just
you
want to kill you.
move, they will try to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And they're quite bigger than like grizzlies and
Yeah.
black bears,
Polars,
right?
yeah.
yeah, they're the biggest. Yeah. So,
Or are
good
they
luck.
close to 1,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
they're
have those in
terrifying.
Canada. We're all set here. So, good luck.
Yeah.
We're the ones in danger.
I'm not going anywhere near those guys.
We're pretty much near
Well,
the.
no, they're
you
actually
know-
coming closer to us. Is the problem?
Oh, really?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Why is
And by
that?
us, we mean you
No
guys
more ice.
first. So,
Yeah.
Oh, because of the
Oh.
melting.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, so the ice was keeping us away from them.
Well, that was their
Oh,
natural habitat. That's
Yeah.
where they were. Now they're losing that, so they're moving further south onto land in the northern parts of Canada.
yeah,
like
so you
Alaska
guys
and
are our
stuff.
first line of defense. We look forward to hearing how it's going.
Yeah.
I'm crossing the border.
Across the border, yeah.
We're not that far, We're
Imagine
basically
just-
near
yeah.
the border. Of,
Imagine just seeing a polar bear across the Canada-US border. Just like, what the fuck?
Oh,
be
do we
scary.
kill it or do we capture it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd want to capture that one. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know where that thing's been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Be interesting. But yeah, so okay. I think we covered a lot. I think this was fun.
This was really
the
fun, yeah.
discussion, all these questions, and also learning stuff from you guys that we didn't know. So we really appreciate you guys coming on. So maybe before we wrap up, where can people find you guys? Your podcast, website. What are all your socials and all that good stuff?
Nick, you want to give this a shot?
I don't have my social media. I don't do social media. Like, don't come
Cool.
look for me. Don't find me. I'm good. Ashley can share all of our podcast related stuff and her own.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what usually happens. All right, so you can find us at Get Out Alive, an Animal Attack podcast, on like any streaming platform that you probably find this podcast on, except for YouTube. We have not ventured into YouTube. You guys
No.
are killing it. You guys look great on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We don't know how video podcasting works.
We
so,
tried. It didn't go well.
No, it's not going great. So we're just an audio thing for now. But you can find us at getoutalivepodcast.com, Get Out Alive on Facebook, Get Out Alive Pod on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter, which is also now known as X, which is stupid, but I'm still there.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah,
what?
trust me, I'm
that-
mad
know
about
that?
I
it.
didn't know that.
Elon changed the
He
name
changed
to
the
X.
name? Oh, God.
It's just X. Yeah.
That's
it
new
looks-
for me. It's okay. I'm not
Yeah.
on Twitter either, so.
Yeah, it's
Good.
it's really stupid. We're all mad about it. But I'm there at the Angryologist or Ashley the Ologist. You can look up whichever. I think that's TikTok, Get It Alive. I don't know what I'm doing there, but we're there. So
Oh yeah, we're also trying to figure that.
Yeah, try to figure out that one
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for coming on, and we'll end it there.